So I can only assume that because you clicked on this video, you're either looking to buy a Fuji X-T3 this year, or you're deciding whether or not you should keep the one that you got. And my honest answer is yes. Yes to both of those. In all seriousness though, it would be great if it were that easy when you're trying to make a decision about purchasing a piece of equipment, but unfortunately it's not. So I thought I would start today with explaining why I bought the Fuji X-T3 and some of my experiences with it, and I'll highlight some of the key features and stats that are most important to me as a photographer and videographer that works as a marketing manager in a tourism industry. So there was really 3 key reasons that I made the upgrade to get this camera. One of which was I needed an upgrade. Number 2 was I needed an affordable option. And number 3, I thought the camera actually looked really cool.
Don't you judge me.
Now I know buying a camera based on its appearance can sound kind of stupid, but just hear me out on this. When I got my very serious start in photography all those years ago, I started off shooting film in photography school. And it just so happens the Fuji X-T3 looks like a film camera. So in some ways or another, it kind of reminds me of my origin story of how I got started in photography. Also, the fact that my camera is very aesthetically pleasing to look at, it helps me build a better bond and relationship with my camera. And I think that's something very important for day in and day out use of the camera. All jokes aside, I think having a good looking camera is something that is important, and it's something that a lot of us often overlook. The other 2 reasons that I made my choice to upgrade was because A, I needed an upgrade, and then 2, I needed an affordable option. At the time, I was using the crop factor 50, the Canon M50 if you don't already know, and although it was a great little camera, it really wasn't enough to do the things that I needed it to do. And I also was not a big fan of the video footage, especially considering the fact that when you were shooting in 4K, it had a massive crop factor that really cropped in way too much to even make it usable unless you had some type of attachment like a speed booster or something to that extent. And I just don't believe that the base of the camera system should require you to have something like that in order to get it to work at its proper capabilities. And with the Fujifilm X-T3, I not only got an upgrade to the overall look of the 4K footage, I'm now getting 10-bit capabilities, which is fantastic for clients or my job or even my personal work if I want to go that far. And also now I can record up to 60 frames a second in 4K. So that means if I put it on a smaller timeline, like say 24 frames a second, I can really slow down that footage to knock out imperfections or just to show off a well-polished product in that beautiful slow-mo cinematic stuff. I also like the fact that this camera doesn't overheat like some of its competitors either do or did in the past. But also when we're looking at this from an upgrade option for the affordability of it, it was significantly cheaper than going to say the Canon R series at the time, which was going to cost me over $2,000. The Nikon equivalent was somewhere in that same ballpark. And to get a Sony that was going to do everything I wanted to do was going to cost me about $300 or $400 more than this camera actually did. So this was a very affordable option for me, and I did have somewhat of a limited budget, so I was able to get my camera in a pretty decent above average kit lens for about $1,300, $1,400, which really was not that bad. So with the additional money that I saved from buying another camera and nice lens, I got to buy a second lens. So now I have a nice camera body, I have 2 lenses, and I still paid just a little bit under what I would have paid for the other systems the upgrade to. And I guess while we're on topic of talking about video and upgrades and things like that, the other feature about this camera in the world of video that I think works really well is the autofocus tracking. And this Fuji camera does a superb job at being able to track and find everything in a really reasonable amount of time. And when we're talking about the photography aspect of this camera, it's some good stuff. The Fuji camera system's coloring setup is superb. It's awesome. And Fuji is one of the only cameras that I've ever shot in where I can use a picture profile or set up some kind of custom picture profile. And there's, by the way, real quick, there's this great website where you can get various film simulations to set up in your Fuji camera if you're shooting in JPEG. But let me tell you, you can set up these film simulations in your camera and shoot just JPEG, do probably no edits whatsoever by the time you're done because of the custom capabilities that you have, and those photos are going to look amazing. And for me to say that JPEGs are okay to shoot is a lot, because I shoot everything in RAW. That's a personal choice. I don't care if you shoot JPEG or RAW, but these RAW images are beautiful out the gate without doing any editing whatsoever. So in the photo world, you're getting beautiful photos, beautiful beautiful colors, amazing amounts of presets. You get so much control and customization within your camera, and it just feels good to use this camera. I love how the knobs are on top to control my shutter speed. I love how most Fuji lenses, you control the aperture from a ring on the lens, and I love how there's an ISO control. I just love it. I love the overall look and the capabilities that I can get out of this camera for both photo and video. And I guess that's pretty much my main reasons of why you should get the Fuji X-T3. If you want to get a bunch of compliments, you should buy this camera, is just all I'm saying. And let me know in the comment section below your thoughts. Let me know your camera. You don't even have to have a Fuji camera right now. Just comment what camera you got, what you like about it, what you dislike about it, and why you clicked on this video. Are you thinking about upgrading? Are you thinking about keeping this camera because it's what you already got? And if so, what do you think about this camera if you've been using it? But that's about sums up today's video. I'll catch you on the next one. And as always, be sure to create something new today.